Good morning, guys. I'm so sorry. We are definitely having some problems. We were joking behind the scenes saying that Nadiyah, her anointing is causing all this chaos. I think it was just too much. The cameras can't handle it. But welcome to our next segment of our Relationship Matters Forum. Today we will be discussing relationships within women. Also, we will take a few moments to discuss with our guests, our very special guest, Nadiyah Brown, on survivor breast cancer. I think it's appropriate for the time that we're in, the month of October, that we speak on breast cancer and as well as surviving, as well as women empowerment. So I'm so excited for today's forum. Again, I apologize for the little mishap we're having. So if you are faithful, if you're faithful, then you still be on. Right? So, thanks again for tuning in. Absolutely. We got our host, Mr. Moses, as I was saying before, Nicole Tillman is back. Hey, y'all. And then my sister, the other host, who's just outrageously her, Gita. So we're excited today. This is very special. Nadiyah, we have been childhood friends for many, many years. And I just wanted to, I've been following her story, and I just wanted to give her the platform, the opportunity to speak about herself, her women empowerment, and her business that she's pushing, and get the word out there. So God is good. We're excited for today. So let's get started. So I guess we wanted to first welcome you again. I hope you feel welcome.
I feel very
good. So I wanted to discuss first the breast cancer. I wanted to, I know it might be a little solemn to start, but you know, I know we're going to be well towards the end. Yeah. So get your tissues out, because we got ours. I know I'm ready. Yes. So I did want to discuss, do you mind sharing your age?
No, I am 32.
Okay, so you're 32, and you are indeed a breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So first of all, I knew I grew up, black people don't get breast cancer.
Right.
That's how we grew up. We don't get cancer. That's the white people's disease. Yeah. That's how we were. That's what we were told. Yeah. We got the shock of our lives when that wasn't true. Somebody lied to us.
True. Yes.
But you being diagnosed with breast cancer, and then you're young. Yeah. Wow, you're 32. So that's young. So not only did they lie about African Americans not getting it, but then you're young. Right. So you was lied to twice. Yes. So let's start from the very beginning. You were born. You were born and start living life, and then all of a sudden, what happens?
Okay, so I got diagnosed when I was 29, and a little bit before that, I had felt maybe just like a small lump like under my arm, but I just kind of just thought it was just like a boil or something, and then it went away. Okay. And so I didn't think about it, but a little while after that, I started noticing some changes in my breast. I had like an inverted nipple, wasn't coming out at all, but I still wasn't really thinking about that. And then I had lost 70 pounds. I went on a diet, and I was like exercising a little bit and stuff, and changing my diet, eating different things. And so when my breast was bigger, I did not think that it was like anything wrong, because I thought like, I lost weight, one breast is bigger, everybody's saying one breast is bigger than the other.
Right.
So I'm just thinking like, it's okay, because I didn't really have a lump in my breast. So it was just like a hardening of my breast, and I went to a doctor's office, an OBGYN, for an OBGYN appointment, and when I was there, she asked me if I had any other concerns, and when I told her about my inverted nipple and that my breast was a little bit firm, she looked at it and she decided to give me a prescription for a diagnostic ultrasound and a mammogram. Okay. So I still didn't go right away though. I was just like playing around. I was young. I was 28 at that time, so I wasn't thinking about cancer. I'm just thinking like, I'll go. I'll make it. It'll happen. And then they start calling me like, hey, Miss Brown, why didn't you go to the mammogram and everything? And I'm just like, I'm gonna go. So so they convinced me to just like go and make sure everything was okay. Like, just like let's just make sure it's okay. And so I still played around for a little while, but eventually I went and I got a diagnostic ultrasound first. And just during the visit, the lady just was talking to me like a regular appointment, and her whole aura changed. Like,
wow.
Oh, how are your kids? And just asking me personal questions about my kids, like, oh, is the father around? Like, just, I'm just like, why are you asking me these type of questions? And she like left out the room 2 or 3 times. Then she came back, so I kind of was thinking something was wrong, but I still wasn't thinking about cancer. So after that, I had to get a mammogram. And then after the mammogram, they saw calcifications in my breast, so they decided I needed a biopsy. So I went to get a biopsy, and then a week later they told me that I had breast cancer, and I had stage 3C inflammatory breast cancer at that time before they did my surgery. So then after that, they wanted me to start chemo right away. So I got a port placed in my chest up here, and then I got diagnosed on January 7th, which also is my son Pastor Lee's birthday. So yes, it's a special day for me. So I thought that they wasn't going to tell me this. So I'm like, it's my son's birthday. The Lord is like telling me it's going to be a no today, but it wasn't no that day. It wasn't no that day, but I still took it just as a sign that the Lord, He had me. So after that, I got surgery. I started chemo. I'm sorry. I started chemo. I got diagnosed January 27th. I started chemo right away, January 23rd, because it was a really aggressive cancer, and so they really just wasn't thinking that the odds were good, because the survival rate is like 22 months for this type of cancer. For a lot of people, it has changed over time, but just like the majority of the statistics are still a little bit older. So it's not really good. So mentally that's not really good, because for 22 months it was like mental torment. Right. While I'm going through treatment, while I'm just trying to live a normal life, because I'm thinking like when this 22 months come, like it was going to be over. It was just a lot of stuff.
Let's step back for a minute. So you're initially diagnosed.
Yes.
What was going through your mind? Like what? Like did you want to jump? Did you pray? Like what was your initial reaction?
Initially, I was in shock because I was by myself when I went there, and so when he came in and just said like, Nadiyah, you have cancer, I just was in shock. Like it was. I don't want to say that I didn't believe it because he's telling me this, and I kind of like up until this, and not like I just went one day and the next day. So I kind of had some inclinations that things were going on, but I think I was in shock for like a really long time, and then I think survival mode kicked in right away, because after that I just did what they thought I should do, and what I decided was best for me, and so I just had to just take it day by day. Yeah.
Wow. So
that. I'm sorry, because I was just taken back when you were 29, when you were finally diagnosed with it, but you was dealing with it for about a year.
Yeah.
Wow. And they always tell us to pay attention to our bodies.
Yes.
And I know me, and I know and I can only speak from a black woman's perspective with this. We think we can beat it.
Absolutely.
We think we don't need the doctor.
Absolutely.
I'll go to bed because I must be tired.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll get some rest, and tomorrow I'll be fine. And 70% of the time you go to bed, you wake up, you no longer have that runny nose. But then it's the 30% that keeps nagging you, and we refuse to go see what's going on, because at that point when you have to, now you have to face the reality of it.
Yeah.
And for you to actually get the diagnosis, I'm sorry, I'm already emotional. For you to get the diagnosis and they tell you stage 3, and not only do they say stage 3, now you got a time limit on your life.
Yeah.
Right.
So now you're thinking, I don't want to speak for you, 22 months, well maybe did it start 12 months ago? Right. Like what was going through your mind when they gave you a time limit?
Well, they didn't give me the time limit.
Okay.
I got the time limit from the internet, which they told me to stay away from.
But still, because we Google everything.
Yeah, because okay, let me back up a little bit. It was really aggressive. So like, I was diagnosed with stage 3C at first, and then I did chemo, and then I did surgery. But after surgery, I had 13 lymph nodes taken out, and 12 had cancer. So they diagnosed me with stage 4 because it was more aggressive. Because now not necessarily spread all over because your lymph nodes is like right above like your breast and stuff, but it really wasn't looking good. So I was really looking up stuff because they weren't really telling me anything. They were just saying like, oh, you have to do this. This is the next step in this, and they're saying this, and I'm in my doctor's office talking to my breast care navigator, but she's crying. You know, she's giving me information with tears in her eyes, and she's a cancer survivor herself. So not only does she have the experience with cancer, she knows that this is a serious situation. And so that was really made me want to keep on researching stuff, because it's just like, y'all not really saying that I'm dying, but the activity, the actions that they're showing me are is that. And then after one appointment, they try to put me on hospice. Now, one time at the doctor's office, did they say, we're going to sign you up for hospice? Like, seriously. So this is why I was researching and doing stuff on my own, because nobody was really telling me what was really going on. Because, of course, those are the first questions. How long am I going to live? Right. How much time do I have? Right. Oh, we can't tell you that. But when I'm looking up, inflammatory breast cancer is very aggressive. It's not a good survival rate. It's not good for black women at all. Younger black women. So it was just, for me, like, that's kind of where I was looking for my little answers. But it still was mentally tormental.
Right. That's my goodness. I'm just so shocked that because we look at these healthcare providers to provide information, and you weren't getting information. And then they had the audacity to try to prescribe hospice. Like,
and it was serious.
Seriously?
I had to, the lady, I remember her name was Cynthia, and she was an African American lady, and she just kept calling me like, Miss Brown, we want to just sign you up for the services. I'm just like, well, and at the time I was smoking cigarettes still, because I was a smoker. So I was not feeling like I needed hospice. So, you know, not saying that the cigarettes was helping me, but I was feeling healthy enough at that time to be smoking. So I'm just like, I'm not going to hospice. So I finally had to just tell her, like, if you call my phone one more time, I'm going to kill you.
But I keep hearing how aggressive they are with hospice. Like, why is that aggressive? Why is that the policy? Like, are they getting more money for more people being in hospice?
They are.
It's a business. It's definitely
terrible.
Yeah, because like I was not like sick. I mean, I was sick, but I wasn't like not able to like move around or do anything like to that point where I felt like I needed hospice. So
and the thing about hospice, people need to understand, and one of the things, because we went through this with my mother, because they automatically try to send her on hospice. And one of the things that people sometimes don't ask, hospice is literally giving up health care. You no longer are getting treated for your ailment. You actually are literally saying, no more medication, just give me pain medicine to make me comfortable, and I'll count out my days to my dying day. So if you would have agreed to that, all the surgeries, all that medication you were on, all of that would have stopped immediately.
See, I didn't know that.
Crazy.
Yeah, and they don't tell you that.
They don't tell you that.
They don't, and that's the thing. They don't tell you that. And I remember when we sat there for my mom, and they wanted to push her on hospice. That was one of the questions I asked. Now, let's be clear. You're sending her home to die. Let's be clear. So you're not giving her anything, because I think my sister asked about her sugar level or something, and they just like, no.
Like, no.
So her sugar will go up, everything.
It's horrible.
It's terrible, and they don't tell us that.
Death.
Right. They totally stop treatment on trying to get you better. They literally only give you things to make you comfortable, which is pain medicine that probably would progress it even more because of the type of the medication that they give you. Because even at that point, even when you're allergic to a certain medicine, that doesn't even matter. They just give it to you to make you comfortable.
That's crazy.
That is.
I did not know that.
Yes.
So thank you, Lord.
I'm like, that took a lot of courage for you to say, lady, call my phone again.
Because it was aggressive. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, she was calling me a lot. I don't remember exact amount of time, but I remember it being a lot. I remember every other day, Miss, please leave me alone. She's like, we just want to sign you up for the services. Because I didn't really ask a lot of questions, but for me, I knew that hospice is like, you're dying. Like, it's the end for you. So I was just like, but again, they're not telling me this at my doctor's office. But you have somebody calling me from hospice. So for me, I really had to, and at that time I have I had two doctors. So I had like the oncologist and then a breast health doctor, who was still my breast health doctor, and I love him. He's really good. He was my surgeon too. But it was just a lot. And then so after that, I got surgery, and then I had to do radiation, and that was a lot. So radiation was hard. I had to do radiation every single day, and I had to go all the way to Phoenixville. I wasn't driving. I could have possibly got Transnet, but it's really not good. Like, having state insurance, I mean, thank God that I have it, but it's really not good. You do not get the best care.
Yeah, you don't.
Transnet be taking an hour. They say I'm going to be here in an hour. So now I just got done chemo. You want me to sit outside for an hour and wait for you to come pick me up? Like, it was just ridiculous. So I did do most of my radiation, but I did quit a little bit early because it just was too much. Yeah, and then after that, I switched my oncologist. So now I go to Jefferson, which I think was good because when I got there, he gave me another chemo that the other doctor should have given me, and I was upset because I thought I was done with chemo, because chemo really is the worst, and it really like makes you nauseated, diarrhea, you can't get out the bed, I couldn't eat, and I just was not able to do anything. Like, you chemo really puts you down. And it was a strong chemo, and I was getting it once every 3 weeks, so it was lasting just about that whole 3 weeks. So it was really, really strong. So, but I went to the Jefferson, and then they gave me chemo there, which I'm happy about because it was called the Red Devil. It's not a good one.
The Red Devil.
They call it the Red Devil because it's really red, and it like change your urine and everything, different colors and all that. But it's an aggressive drug, so I was happy that he gave it to me. And so, like I said, the Lord was telling me that I needed to be somewhere else, and so I switched doctors because I just felt like I needed to. It was the best thing for me. So then after that, I had reconstruction a little bit, like a year and a half later, but I really thought I wasn't going to be able to get the reconstruction too because the type of cancer that I had, like, I couldn't get an implant right away. Like, a lot of women get surgery and then get an implant put in, but I couldn't get that, and I had to wait, and I really don't think that they thought that I would make it to that point, and so I did, and so I'm happy, and they gave me like a little mommy tummy tuck thing, and they took out my right abdominal muscle and made me a left breast, so I'm excited about that because I had to stuff it before and I was not happy about that.
Wow.
So, okay, so
before you move on, because she has a few comments.
Yes.
Yeah, people just jumping on right away. We have Precious Sullivan. She said, "Come on, baby."
That's my best friend.
And then she said, "But you beat it, though." I didn't hear the attitude in that, but you beat it, though.
Right. That's how she is. Yes.
And then Arlena Parker, I'm terrible with names.
That's like
Ariel, okay, Parker. She says, "So proud of you."
Oh, thank
so
you, Ariel.
That's so awesome. So your story is really encouraging women, even your peers, because for your best friend here to say, "But you beat it," and come on, like that's like a black term, like you better come through. You better come through. So you're encouraging, and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. Did anything happen to your breast? But you were just explaining.
Yes. Well, when I got the surgery and I got my left breast removed, that's when they removed the lymph nodes as well. That's when I found out that it was more stage 4. Yes, that was the only other surgery that I had. And then I have lymphedema in my arm, and it's just not good at all. But okay. Sorry.
We're gonna pray for that.
Yes, it's okay. I need to get that compression sleeve. I will. Yeah.
But you're still alive.
I'm still here.
But you beat it though.
Yes.
But you beat it though. I love how she said that.
Also, if I'm jumping around, I just have to remember. Sometimes I have to go back and remember that.
Right.
And I think that's important too, because to be very honest, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
You're an absolute miracle sitting on this couch in front of us. For them to basically, your first team of doctors wrote you off.
Yes.
And for you to take the power of your own life and say, "Nah, I'm gonna find somebody else." That's then you mentioned how God was leading you to just go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we as church people expect, especially by church, we expect to go to church, get hands laid, and that miracle.
And then now you're better.
Yes.
But sometimes it's a process.
It's definitely a process.
To have your miracle for your healing.
Yeah.
And I'm truly believe that God has put these physicians down here as His hands for us. And not only, sure, you could have woke up the next day, got diagnosed for cancer, and he healed you the next day,
yes.
Awesome.
Right.
Praise the Lord. However,
that's right.
You have a powerful testimony.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Because I just want to touch on that. Cancer is a bad thing, but I stopped smoking cigarettes. I was able to overcome. I'm not going to say that I had a Percocet addiction, but a dependency, because when you're taking those type of drugs, you get dependent on them because you need them for pain and different things. And so I was able to overcome that. Wow. You know, I was able to move on and just really get closer to God, because when I was going through all that, that's why I mean, so I was in prayer, because prayer really works for me. Because I remember sitting on the couch and watching TV and crying, smoking a cigarette, just like, God, this can't be it for me. Like, you know, I did not have a good life up to this point, and I just didn't feel like that was the end for me. And so I listened to that segment and I prayed, and I'm telling you that things just have been falling off of me. Wow. Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
Oh my God.
Isn't it wonderful when God puts us in a situation where we have no absolute other choice but to trust Him? But then when we come out, with lessons learned. Yes, more knowledge than we could ever imagine.
Right.
And then, oh my God, your relationship with God. Yes. Like, oh my God. So now, because of the breast cancer, because of everything that you went through, oh my God, I am now walking in my destiny and my purpose. That's what He absolutely created me to do. Because I was dependent on Percocet. I was smoking cigarettes. I was ruining my own destiny.
Yes.
And He said, not so. So let me wake you up just for a moment.
Just
like,
a little bit. Yeah. So the ailment is what catapulted you towards your destiny and your purpose.
That's awesome. The devil wanted to take me out, and God changed it and used it for His purpose.
Because all things that work together.
Because all things work together for the good that love God. And call.
Like, you didn't even know you were called.
Listen.
Until you looked at it.
Girl. Oh my God. Nadiyah, you just don't understand. You are a walking epistle, a miracle, a mouthpiece from God.
Yes.
Just to see that these people wrote you off.
Yes.
At 29.
At 29. Yes.
Not to think, this child got children. She has people that love her. They looked at you as a case and say, you know what, she's done.
Yeah. Wow.
And you said no.
Yeah. I said no. I said, God, no, not yet. I'm not ready. And then on top of that, my kid's father is in jail, and so I do have a mom and stuff, but at that time, the Lord has been doing so many things. Like, my mom used to be getting high, and my mom is no longer getting high. My grandma no longer smokes cigarettes. Wow. Like, the Lord has really just been peeling back the layers for me. And I'm really, really happy about it. And I really am excited to be here. And I'm happy that I'm here with Christian people celebrating the Lord. Yeah. It's so good talking about it. And I'm like, but they're going to be okay with that. So, like,
girl,
let's talk about it.
And for you to say, even your foundation is founded on prayer.
Yes.
The three of us are big advocates of prayer. The
prayer.
first thing, when something go wrong, let's pray.
Right, even in the chat. We'll be in the little chat room and we'll be like, no, I need to pray.
Because people, you cannot have a relationship with God without first talking to Him.
Yeah.
But prayer is so vital.
It is.
It gives you a direct line to God. And I think that's what people forget.
Yes.
It gives you the direct line to God.
Yeah.
To petition God for what's needed and what's desired.
Yes.
And He hears us.
And He hears us.
Right. And He responds.
Yes. And He responds.
Yes. And He responds.
So let's get a little depth of survivors who pray. Like, I'm so excited. I'm a Facebook stalker.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Now I know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been stalking your page, and I'm like,
yes.
Wow, survivors who pray.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, the Lord gave me that. I have this book that I just write down all the ideas that the Lord gives me. And at first, I did want to make it about breast cancer and just women and things like that. But as I prayed about it and talked to the Lord more about it, and I also be on Facebook following people, it's just so many people who have survived so many things, and prayer really helped me survive a lot of things. Like prayer was really the only way that I like to talk to God, because I feel like I can get deep in prayer. If I go into my room and shut the door, it's just me and him, it's nobody else. I feel free talking to him, and I feel liberated talking to him, and I feel like he's going to respond. So he's listening, and so I just wanted to start something where prayer was the focal point, survivors were the focal point, because there's so many things going on in life. People survive, car accidents, trauma, relationships, domestic violence. It's so many things. It's not just about cancer or just about breast cancer, because there's so many. I want to first give a shout out to metastatic breast cancer survivors, because there's a lot of women that's living with cancer, like it's never going to go away for them. So for me, I really wanted to showcase those type of things. I want to showcase people. I want to start like being able to provide services for survivors while they're going through treatment, if they need help. For, of course, women, if they have children, because a lot of times when you're going through stuff, you can't work. It's not public assistance or state assistance is not really enough.
Right.
It's not. So you have to take this, but you also have to try to find other ways to be able to live and find means to provide. So I really want to be able to provide those services.
That's
awesome.
That's really awesome.
Start a prayer line.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That's awesome.
Yes.
So Survivors Who Pray is your organization. That's your baby that you birthed. So do you have any upcoming anything for us to be stalking you on, or are you just in the makeup still building the process?
I'm in the makeup still building the process, but please do stalk me for things, because right now I'm a young advocate for living beyond breast cancer, so I'm doing different things. I do want to put together some events that I want people to come out to and be able to donate and make money and raise money for living beyond breast cancer, because they offer a lot of services for newly diagnosed women. They have like a lot of resources. They have it's like a map where like people that live near you, like you can see if somebody's like an advocate or somebody that can help you with a helpline, like on a map. So it's really, really easy. It's really, really resourceful. And so I'm excited about all the things that I'm able to do for living beyond breast cancer. They have helped catapult my activism too.
Great.
Yes. So awesome.
Great.
So awesome. She made a key point with the whole surviving, and one of the things that you were mentioning with it was just the things that we deal with as women.
Yes.
And to be a woman, it's tough.
It is.
And to be a black woman, it's even tougher. And then you're a black woman that has survived the ailment. But let's talk about, ladies, just about being a woman and living, because even though you were diagnosed with cancer, there were days you couldn't get out of the bed.
Yes.
There's days that you couldn't function.
Yeah.
But you still had to be a mom.
Yes.
You still had to be a woman.
Yes.
You still had to be a daughter.
Yes.
You still had to be all these things. You still had to be a friend.
Yeah.
You still tried to have a social life because you were young.
Yes.
And that's a lot of things that we face as women when we're dealing with just an ailment or even a disease, because even just daily life can get you depressed.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure you went through a stage of depression and anxiety, and I just can't get over the fact that these people just counted you dead.
Yeah.
They wrote you off.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, I think it was more so of the type of cancer.
Because of the type of,
because it, it's not really good, so they probably just like think.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
to be
what it was.
honest, it was like, I'm really young, so that cancer center that I was at that point in time was a lot of older people. It was a lot of white people, not racist or anything, and I just felt like they did not have a lot of situations like mine. So, when you don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot of resources to deal with something, you kind of just, go with what's recommended for this person. So I don't think that they thought that it was going to be good for me. Yeah.
I'm gonna drive you back over there though.
Yeah.
Y'all remember her? Y'all remember her? Okay, just wanted to know. Y'all remember her?
They probably know that I'm doing good because the breast health doctor that I go to, they're close. They're both with family people, so they probably know.
They know. They know that you survived.
Absolutely.
So where are you at now with the whole cancer situation?
I'm cancer free. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, but I am. But first, I wanted to back up. I still suffer from depression, anxiety. I still have to get a shot monthly. That because I was so young, Another thing, wait, pause, back up. This doctor also wanted me to get a hysterectomy. He wanted me to get a double mastectomy. And to do all this because of the type of cancer, and also because, you know, breast cancer and ovarian cancer is all like your reproductive organ and stuff, so it's kind of connected. Wow. And for me, I have estrogen positive cancer, so high levels of estrogen will cause cancer cells to grow in me. So he wanted me to do all this, and I just had to say, no, wait, pause, because they were like, oh, you have 2 kids, you have a boy and a girl, you know, try to live for those kids, which I understood at the time because I needed to be strong for them because I had them. But just being 29, like, I didn't want to, like, have kids right away, but you don't want anybody to tell you, like, oh, you can't have any more kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to go on, like, a lupine depot, so it shuts down, like, my whole, like, kind of put me into menopause. So I had to do all of that. So I get hot flashes, I get chemo brain, I get fuzzy brains, I get mood swings. So it's not, people think like after treatment it just goes back to normal, so you should go back to your normal self, but nothing is normal after cancer. Nothing's normal. Nothing ever goes back to being the same. Like I used to be able to wear heels. Now if I put heels on, like my whole entire legs just be ready to give out. They be shaking. My bones are probably weaker. You know, all of that stuff is affected by the chemo and things like that too. Yeah, so it's all of that stuff.
Wow. Yes. And that's important because I know so often when people say I'm cancer free and you ring the bell, people forget.
Yes.
That you're still dealing, and you still have to deal with it, even though that you are cancer free.
Yes.
And they basically, like, our breast is important to us as a woman. Yeah. And then our uterus is important to us as a woman. And you want to take all this away from me, and then it's like,
it's kind of the essence of what makes you a woman.
Yeah.
And then you're not married. Is that something you look forward to one day?
Yes,
being
I want to be married. I want to have kids.
Yeah, so you know, it's like I get them. They say, okay, well, you got 2 children. Let's live for your children. But how about we live for me first?
Yeah,
because they can't be okay if I'm not okay. Yes. I need everything intact because I have a future.
Right.
I'm 29. I'm right.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yes, it was a lot of decision making, a lot of praying, a lot of talking to God, because those type of decisions He really only can help you with, because you know people, you know, they love you, so they'll give you how they feel. Of course, everybody like, no, you shouldn't do that. But if God would have said, I think this is the best thing for you, then I would have done that. So, but He didn't say that. Because I think He has plans for me.
Yes, He does.
Oh, absolutely.
Ain't no thing to go. Like, really?
I like that
Absolutely. Let's shift just a little bit and talk about, because I did hear
I know
No, you're good. I just hang on. I hang on to words. Okay. You know, like I absorb words. And one of the things that you were saying is like, you know, I still feel depressed, or I still have depression because of what I've gone through. And let's just kind of branch and definitely still keep your input about what we go through as women, because we want to empower each other. And I am a woman that has been diagnosed with depression at one point, and had to beat that. So not only did you battle the cancer, now you're battling mental illness. And I think one of the things, Nicole, you were saying at one time about how important mental health is. And we as Black people, if we go to the doctor for everything else, why can't we go to the doctor for this? If we get treated for a cold, why can't we get, but we look them down and we frown upon because you want to go talk to somebody. And I know I was raised, and we were raised in a home where it's, you don't tell nobody your business. What's in this house, stay in this house.
That really sticks with you when you're older too.
And it does. Because I found myself doing that with my children when they were young. Was in my house, stay in my house. Let me find out. You telling my business. Let me find out. You tell my business, it's going to be a problem. But I had to get away from that as a parent and even as a woman, because sometimes you have to tell somebody. And I think that's really key with Dina's ministry, with talking about relationships of different types and different kind, that you gotta have somebody. And you know what I used to look at these posts when people post on Facebook about I did everything by myself,
Yes.
There's no way.
No way.
There's absolutely no way you did your entire life without anybody.
Right. You ain't giving somebody credit.
Yes.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
It's just impossible.
Somebody helped you with something.
Thank you.
A word, a hand, a hug,
money, let you borrow.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Anything.
Right. Took you
The
to
clerk in the store gave you a prom. That helps.
All of that.
Mm-hmm. All of that. And I think we need to really zoom in and key on, instead of, we live in a society where independence is glorified and dependence is looked down upon.
Yes.
But there is a healthy dependency.
Right.
There, and I need us to understand that as women, that it's okay to be. This is another thing that burns me up. I'm burned up today. But I was one of these women.
Yeah.
I don't need no man. Girl, bye.
Yeah.
Girl, bye.
Right.
Like, stop.
Yes.
We have to really stop as women making ourselves believe and making our children believe that we don't need men. Mm-hmm. If we didn't need it, God wouldn't have created it. And I'm not saying, and I'm talking about a healthy dependency.
Yes.
I'm not talking about you stand outside his window
while he brushing his teeth.
Not the unhealthy, but we need a healthy dependency on people. Mm-hmm. And it's okay. Right. Yes. Why? Somebody answer that question. Why has we gotten to a point in society when it's not okay to need someone?
I think a lot of it is the black culture being told. Well, I think, okay, let me try to explain this. I think as a black culture, we're told that it's not okay to be family based. It's not okay to have a relationship with a man, your husband, and grow your kids up together. Yeah. We're always either in the media or how the world perceives us as we can never do something right. They make us feel as though we can't thrive. And I think that's a lot of the mental persona that we had is this slavery. I think a lot of our Africans, I think we're still slavery minded.
Yes.
I think us black women, because we're talking about women, we are in this point mentally where I could do bad by myself. I'd rather do bad with somebody else because one, I have the encouragement and the strength to draw on to make it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't want to do bad.
I don't want to do myself. I don't want to do it by myself.
And you don't have to.
Right. I don't either. And it really gets me how, and I was one of these women, just single parents. I was raising my children on my own at one point. And we think it's okay that, we can raise our boys. Yes. No. We cannot. They need their fathers. If their father's not in their life, they need a male positive figure to teach them how to be men.
Right.
So it's a lot there that I think that we're getting better.
We are getting better.
But we need to definitely
I think too, when it comes to the whole society, and we got a few comments. Precious says that's a word. Sandra, I don't know how to say it. Winbush, says yes. She agreed. Precious again says so true. She dug in. Hey girl, she just dug in. And then you have Stefan. He says, one of our co-people. That's not invited today. That's not invited today. He says it's an agenda being pushed to the culture, especially our culture. Yes. And I agree. I seen this one thing on Facebook. This woman was preaching, and she corrected she was kind of like correcting our language as black women about our black men. And one of the things that she said was so profound. When we're quick to always say, I'm his backbone. Which implies if I'm his backbone, it implies that he has none.
Right.
Yeah.
So I stopped saying that.
Yeah.
So I say now I'm his support system. I have his back.
I always say I'm his help.
I'm his help. I'm his help. Yeah, right.
Because I don't want to be his backbone. He do too much and I'm too weak. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, no, because the stuff that he can handle, and it has been proven over 13 years. I got this stuff documented. The stuff that he can handle, I be.
I know.
Because I'm like, how'd you do it? I can't do it. Like, seriously. Like, so if I can do anything to push him or support him and I don't have to do it, back.
But we had to, and the thing about it is I'm 41. Took me 40 years to figure this out. Like, seriously, because I was so quick to be the one to say I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
I'm strong. I'm black. I'm independent. I'm strong.
Yeah.
And I know you could get that as being a single mom and raising your kids, and I can raise my son. No.
Yeah.
I had help with him.
Yeah.
Because even though I can give him the gist of how to be a man, there is no way I can actually give him physical examples of being a man.
Yes.
Because the first thing I'll say is, you need to call. Because I ain't got that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about that feeling.
Yes.
Right.
So, here's the thing. I'm going to need you to call. Make that call. And then let mommy know what happened. But it takes a humility. And I think one thing you said, Nicole, we always having these conversations, about power and submission.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's strength in that.
There is.
And as soon as you say the S word, everybody's all the women is up in arms.
Yes.
We burning bras. We're liberated now. But then we say, but there's strength in that.
It is.
There's strength in that. And then we get to a point where, because me and Nadiyah, we had a conversation, and she was talking about manipulative people and stuff like that. But women has a power of persuasion.
Yes.
There's no sin in that.
Yeah.
Right.
The sin comes when you start to be manipulative.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But God has given us a gift of persuasion.
Yeah.
So you'll be surprised the things that women, and I'm not talking about, you know, because you're doing sexual favors or anything of that nature.
Right.
Absolutely not. I'm talking about being healthy.
Yes.
Because even in my relationship now, there's some things that was definitely off the table. No, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I just said, after I learned them, I'm like, I had to learn them. And then come another way.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I find that we don't make a speech about it, then all of a sudden it gets done.
Yes.
So we have that gift.
Yeah.
But we have to understand and how to tap into it. People, Precious is really dug in today.
Yes.
She says, this is deep. I'm learning today. Laugh out loud.
Yes.
We learning too, girl. But I want to talk about the depression aspect.
Yeah.
Not forgetting the cancer, but I think we all have dealt with depression and anxiety, because sometimes it's weird.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand, but two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah.
Because you go from to Jesus, I'm sad.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm a mom. Y'all gotta know that about me. So let's talk about, and we haven't heard a lot from Nicole, and I know that Nicole has a lot to give.
Yes.
I'll wait.
So we want to tap into Nicole and get involved, and everybody that's on the live feed, because I see there's a lot of people viewing. Please chime in. Please ask questions. If you have anything for Nadiyah, please ask. Anything for the panel, please ask. We definitely want to address it. I have it. My son just logged on. Hey! From college. I miss my boy so much. He's in school, but okay, so we got this special shout out. But please log on, ask us questions, even if you don't want to ask it in the setting of the live feed. I'm connected to the inbox. We'll keep you private. We'll definitely address the question, because you have 4 masterminds up here that's still trying to walk this thing out.
Yes.
But we have overcome some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we can begin to tell testimonies to encourage and help you. But let's talk about the aspect of depression and anxiety. Anybody have a story behind that? You start with Nicole or? My son just said, "Love y'all. We love you too. Can't wait till Thanksgiving."
Let's see. Depression. Wow. I can't say that I've never been diagnosed with it. There have been moments in my life where depression has definitely tried to overtake me.
Yes.
And I'm 37. I'm single. I don't have no kids. Biologically, things are winding down. There was I would say probably a couple of years ago is when this happened. There was no prospects, no nothing, and people just ask you all the time, well, why aren't you in a relationship? Why don't you have kids? Why don't you have that? And that starts to take a toll on you. Mentally, because you're like, well, what is wrong with me? Like, what's going on? And I think I'm doing everything right, but then still nothing is happening. So there was a period where I got in a really dark place, and I got out through prayer. But I now also understand that it is very important to have people that you can talk to that you trust. If you need to go, you talked about this earlier about mental health. If you need to go see a specialist, a psychiatrist, a counselor, if you feel like your pastor got it, go to the pastor. But I'm also a proponent of go to the professionals that got the degrees in it, so because they understand how the mind works, and they can speak directly to those things. Because I think a lot of times, as a Black church, we discount therapy, and we say, well, if you pray enough and you see God's face enough, yes, He can do it, but you also need to go talk to a professional.
Right.
Like, they go hand in hand.
Yes.
And guess what? There's some counselors that are saved.
Yes. Thank you.
So they do both. And I know just recently, I went for something totally unrelated, but I was like, I'm not okay. I need to see a counselor, and I got myself a counselor. I paid my copay.
Yes.
And I got the help that I needed. And she was a believer, so she was able to give me scripture to back everything up. And I felt so much better after talking to her. I think we did like 2 or 3 sessions. But I feel so much better. Yeah. And I felt free. And I didn't feel like we have to get rid of the stigma that we're not supposed to do it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not a white thing. It's not a rich person thing. Go get help.
Right.
If you think you're not okay, go. Because this is the only body you got. This is the only mind you got. So we need to be healthy so that we can survive for our families and for our people.
Right. And it was so key when you said, find somebody that you trust to talk to as well. You have to stay connected to a circle of people or persons that can help you with whatever you're going through. And one, you have to be honest with yourself from the beginning and say, I'm not okay. And it's okay not to be okay. Because once you admit that you're not okay, then you can get okay.
Exactly.
Get okay. And it's an amazing, there's so much power in admission. When you admit where you are, I'm not okay, I'm angry, I'm upset. Me and God has had multiple conversations to why. What else burns me up? When people are so quick to say, don't question God.
That's a lie.
Why not?
Yeah.
He wants you to.
He's sovereign.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
He's sovereign. But he's sovereign. Because they use that excuse too. He's sovereign, but he's still our friend. And that's what the Bible says. That I am a friend of God.
And I think a lot of it is because nobody, and this is my book, nobody really understands a healthy relationship. And we put God in our unhealthy relationships as if He's the creator of an unhealthy relationship. He's the prime example of how to have a good, healthy relationship. I mean, just because man did us one way, he's not. He's the perfect example of how to have a good, healthy relationship. And that is dialogue, that's talking, that's questioning, that's answering, that's summing things up, that's giving and taking and loving and I don't like you at this moment. It's so many things that we just get it twisted. We really get it twisted. And then we just assume that God is the same way. He's not. He's always there. Like, He's always there. And then it's our lack of prayer that gets us in the state of a box because we don't talk to him enough to be like, yo, God, what's up?
You know, God in a box.
Right,
Because
absolutely.
because of our limited understanding, we put that same blinder on God,
right?
As if he's not infinite and he can't do exceedingly abundantly above what we think. Yeah. Like we really put these parameters on God as if he is man, or we treat him like a genie. And I think we limit the word because the word says to ask of him. That includes questions. Yes. That's not just asking what I need, but that's just asking. That's where it stays right there.
Ask. Right.
That's so key. That's so important. And we touched this before in our last forum about getting that relationship right with God, and not to be religious, because so many times when you say get the relationship right with God, then it's, oh God, I gotta stop drinking, I gotta stop smoking, I gotta pull my skirt down, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But Jesus, now I gotta have 10:22 service out the month because of a 10:21, I may go to hell. So let me figure this thing out. Okay, so that's right. Stop. That's religion. Yeah. That's something that the man made, put on us to make us feel. Yes, the Bible says don't forsake the assembly of others. You're supposed to. Because iron do sharpen iron. Right. You're supposed to. But because you stayed in the bed one Sunday out the month, don't mean, and I can say that because I used to feel like, oh God, I gotta miss a Sunday.
And you know what? There are times when God will tell you to stay home and rest.
Yes.
Because it's important.
Yes.
Because you need your body needs rest. And
you
only get one body.
And your body heals when you rest. I learned that during cancer too. Like, I initially wanted to just try to push through and do everything, but I had to sit there and you have to rest. Let your body heal. Let things come back together, especially after going through chemo. That was something that I really needed.
So you're telling me because you rest, God didn't go to the big bang of check.
No,
she's
the giant eraser.
Giant eraser. And then it's going to come out the book. And she decided to rest this Sunday. But it's funny because that's what I'm thinking. Your name in the book is out the book. Yes. It's in the book, it's out the book. Stop. God is not a yo-yo.
Right.
God is not a yo-yo.
Yes.
So we need to stop.
He knows all things. He knows that your name is staying in the book.
Yes. That's right.
That is so funny because we grew up like that.
Yeah.
And we grew up, and I know I grew up in a church where women were, I'm going to be careful, but we had to look a certain way in the church.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, I got in trouble by one of my relatives because I just wanted to wear jeans one Sunday.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was, you got to give God your best on Sunday. So I got to wear these hot stockings and this skirt to the floor and this stuffy suit jacket to give God my best. When these jeans is just as fly to me.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you cover up, you try to dress appropriate. Yeah. You dress appropriately, but we just had to deal with so much as women from every angle of our lives. And then all of a sudden, what Steph said, the agenda to push our culture away. So we're dealing with all this stuff and all these angles, and then society tell us we don't need nobody.
Right.
That is the trick of the devil.
It is.
That is the enemy.
Yes, he wants you alone, so he can mess with your mind.
He can kill you.
You better,
right.
Girl. You better come through.
But you completely alone.
Yes.
And there's a difference too when God isolates you and when the enemy is trying to push you aside. Because there are seasons where God will have you in a place with just you and Him. Because even when God puts you in isolation, you're not alone because you're with Him.
Right.
But when the enemy does it, you are completely devoid of everything.
Yes.
Right. So, and even too, when we talk about the aspect of growing up and all the stuff that we have to deal with as women, and then we deal with the independency thing, we have to be independent because we don't need a man, and then society pins us against each other. Why? Dean, I know you have a lot to say about women and women relationship and women encouragement and women empowerment. And I think I'm gonna just let you run with it. Go ahead and talk about that, because that itself is a
I myself had women. We serve one God, but he's definitely omnipresent. So he can be everywhere. So I'm thoroughly confused why, especially ministry, why it feels like everything has to be a competition. When we serve a God and we got billions of people on this earth that needs to know who God is, who needs to know your testimony. So I'm thoroughly confused how we are constantly degrading, we're constantly in this competition, we're constantly gossiping, downsizing, downplaying, like, cut it out, like, stop. Like, I need my girlfriends. Like, I need Nadiyah. Like, her statuses,
it's amazing.
They encourage me.
I gotta start following you.
Yes, they encourage me. I be like, yes. They encourage me. So why not encourage each other? I mean, you pretty just like I'm pretty, you know. And then if you don't feel like you're as pretty, then make yourself pretty. Like, I don't get it.
Or ask me what I'm doing. I can help
Thank you.
You might mind, because if I win, I want you to win.
Right.
We're all
And it makes me feel good if I'm saying I'm winning and then I'm helping you to win.
Right.
And
like,
that's right.
Like, we gotta understand, we have to understand that relationship is important. Connections is important. Very, very much important. And I need you, I need you, I need you, I need her and her, just like somebody may need me. You know, so our whole testimony or what we experience encouraged me. Nadiyah was talking about lymph nodes, and I said, well, I had an issue the other day. Monday morning, excuse me, I need a mammogram. Like, I need all this fix. You know what I mean?
You want to just order yourself out?
But that's good, because a lot of like in our community, the black community, a lot of people do not go to get checked. So we do, because we probably had health issues. Your mom had stuff, so you're more aware. But when you're not aware and people are just living life thinking that they're healthy, we don't go and get. I know when I was younger, I didn't go and get yearly regular well checks, and just to see what was going on, making sure that you keep up with your pap smears, and you do self breast exams, things like that. A lot of people, like, when you're young, you're just thinking like, oh, nothing can happen to me, I'm just healthy, and you don't think about those things. But I just wanted to bring that up. Like, we need to start making sure that we go and get our yearly, annual, whatever.
I think we need to talk about it more. Because we don't talk about it even in our friend circles. We don't talk about going to get checkups and stuff.
You gonna see another, everybody's gossiping.
Right. It's only such and such. Right. She came in with her stanky jeans and her bad weave.
Yes.
So
oh my God. You just, because I'm one of the ones that I don't go to the doctor often. Because I don't feel sick. And guess who making appointments on Monday?
We all going.
Because I never thought about it. And it's so crazy because I'm gonna let y'all know something. So the other day I'm driving and I think it was like a mammogram commercial comes on. And they said you should get your regular mammograms at 40. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta get on it now. I'm 41. But I had the mentality, I didn't hit that age yet, so I'm good. So I'm great. And to be very honest, I do my pap smears and all that. But I've never had a mammogram.
And if you're a certain age, like if you're under 40, a lot of times, and you don't have like any breast cancer history, they don't really give it to you. But if you have some history, you can kind of fight for it. But it's really, really hard when you're young because they don't just, they just don't want to give it to anybody. But it is really something needs to be done. Like, people should have more access. Like, people that have breast cancer history shouldn't have to fight to get the mammogram. It should be services available to people once you hit a certain age, because some things are hereditary. They like to find genes and say if this gene and that gene, but a lot of times too with the insurance, they're not testing all of the genes. Because your insurance only paying for 10% of the genes. Wow. So it's just like a lot going on with it. Yeah.
So this is another thing, ladies. We need to vote.
Yes.
We need to vote because our health care matters.
Yes, it does.
Our tatas and other things matters. Yes. So we need to vote.
Absolutely.
We need to get involved. We have a voice. We need to be heard. Like, we have body parts that need to be taken care of as well. Like, mental health is important as well as our health care. So vote.
Right.
I mean, take the 5 minutes to Google a name and get the information that you need.
Right.
You know,
on that particular candidate,
on the person.
See what they do for us as women, and it's not even a color stigmatism at this point for women.
Right.
You know, and for you to say that you struggle with even in your health care. To try to get certain stuff done. Yeah. That we got to get the right people.
But then this is what irks me, because we have a society and we have Christian people. This is what happens when you protest. So you're outside Planned Parenthood protesting that we're killing babies, but now you have a president who wants to shut it down. Planned Parenthood does more than just abortions. We need them, you know, free health screenings, you know, services to the community, and they don't reach the rich; they reach the poor. It's the poor that needs the information and needs the stuff. So,
I'm not a fan, and I'll get the hate mail later, but I don't care. I'm not a fan of protesting, because what does it do? You get angry over a situation, you go outside, you run 3 blocks, scream through a bullhorn, and then everybody returns back and forget the situation. I'm actually a person that, let's try to get somebody in office. Let's get a representative at the right table to speak about issues that plagues our communities and plague the women and get it heard. Because I can shout out and get my little t-shirt out there, and then there's nothing against any movement that's going on, because I'm pro Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff. I'm definitely on board with all of that. And they have advocates in there that do go in front of people, so I'm not speaking down upon the people that are but I'm talking about the ones that are all of a sudden, oh, Johnny such and such, let's go get Johnny t-shirt and go out here and get a teddy bear and protest for a second and then go away.
Yeah, there has to be more.
There has to be more.
Than one, you need to know the full story and all information. Because, you know, like you said, you go out there and you protest, but you still don't even know what's going on. Like you said, you protesting against Planned Parenthood, and you just saying, no, abortion, down, but you don't know about all of the other services,
all the other stuff
that they provide. So,
and I see them out there quite often. I just look
they
like
were regular protesters.
Like, just because I walked in Planned Parenthood does not mean I'm pregnant, I'm getting an abortion. It means I'm coming in here because I'm sexually active and I want some free birth control because I can't afford it.
Yes. Or I need to get checked because they do pap smears in there as well, and they get referrals and stuff and different things like that. And I'm not an advocate of children hiding from their parents, different things, but they help kids that is not comfortable to speak to their parents or an adult concerning different situations.
Or maybe they don't have a parent that they can go to.
Or maybe they just don't have a parent to go to. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We just attacked this one thing, and whatever your belief is what you believe. However, this agency is really good for a lot of people in our community that cannot afford health care, you know, and they do it at a very discount rate or sometimes free, because I know they got this ladder of income thing, and depending on where you're falling on this ladder, it'll be free. So they're trying to stifle funding from it and it's not fair. It's just not fair. And then you'll end up having a whole bunch of people that's sick. Because they can't get the health care. And we want to definitely get women to a place where we're comfortable to talk about our health, to talk about our bodies, and let them know, like, I'm not comfortable. This felt different this month. Why is this happening? Could be nothing.
Right.
Or it could be something. And it could be the something that helps us.
Right.
You know, because you're just a huge testimony about what God can do, but aside of what God can do, a huge testimony to women empowerment and empowering ourselves. And for you to have your best friend on here, seems like she's your, because she dug in, she's your battery in your back. Yeah. Like, but you beat it, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can hear it, yeah. But you beat it, though. Yeah. And we need women. Yeah. I need my man, but let's put him off to the side for a minute. Let's take your husband and put him off to the side for a minute. I need my girlfriends.
Right.
Thank you.
I need to be able to talk to my girlfriends about something that I can't talk to him about, or I don't know how to talk to him about, or I'm feeling funny in my body, and because you guys are women, you can kind of let me know. Yeah. But there's a separation that happens that the enemy, and it ain't always the enemy though, let me be clear. Because sometimes it's you. So, we got phone ringing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish talking.
You were.
Yeah.
That's why we need our girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we can talk about her.
Sorry.
But yeah, it is important to have.
But it's just so important
girlfriends
to have friends, and then we create the division comes in because and I don't want to use the world because the church does it. I think the sad part about it is I think you find it more so in the church than out in the world. Yeah. And it's sad because the church is a safe haven, and I'm not saying something's wrong with the church or anything, but we just being real about some things that go on in the church that we're so quick to pin each other against each other. There is absolutely no way you girls, because you both have a ministry, and easily you could have said, she doing what I'm doing. I don't want nothing to do with survivors from prayer or survivor, whatever she want to be. You know how we get whatever little thing. Because you want to act like you don't know the name. But you know the name of the survivors, whatever. But instead of doing that, you said, wow, Nadiyah has a agency. Nadiyah's a press. She has the SWP. Let me ask. And you didn't say, girl, why she come in my asking me what I'm doing with my stuff, with her relationship crap. Oh my goodness. But that's what we do. But that's what happens. Yes, so you embraced her, and she immediately in return embraced, and that's what it's about. Yeah. That's exactly what's it about. And even down to Nicole with the because she does the singles women's ministry, and the spirit of competition, you can allow it because the devil can't do anything without you allowing it. Right. It can easily be allowed to set in, and instead of her saying, because I always got a big mouth, so I always got something to say with her for it. Instead of her saying, Dita, I'm the head of the ministry. Let me be the head, Dita. Pastor Brown did not make you the head. I am the head. She says, Dita, you got good ideas. I love it. Keep it going. Mm-hmm. That's empowerment. Yes. Because so often I have found myself, because I am a strong woman, because I have a larger than life personality, the type of person I am, I can actually step in the room and say nothing and still command the attention of the room, just because of what my personality is and how I walk into a room. But that's just me. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I intimidate a lot of women, and they automatically think, oh, girl, bye. Yes. She thinks she better than, she thinks she did. No, I got issues.
Now I find that a lot of haters are people who actually are not whole. They hate themselves. Yeah. Like their esteem is not where it's supposed to be. They may have some jealous issues or esteem, So I find that most of my haters are people who are just not healed from whatever their ailment is, and that's okay. Right. But stop.
Yes.
Don't bring the hate on over here because I'm well, I'm whole.
Right.
You know, don't put me down because I'm healed.
Right.
Because you could be healed too.
Yes.
Let me help you out. You know.
Yeah, and it's so crazy that you say that because that when somebody said, and it's so funny because when me and Nicole standing next to each other, and somebody said, because we're going to get you off that depression thing too, because that's already on my mind.
Yes.
So we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. But before we get there, it's so funny. Me and Nicole will be standing there, and the girl, she'll say something or whatever, because I truly believe our ministry is women. Me and Nicole's ministries are. And the girl, because we always end up being next to each other.
We do.
And the girl will come over and say, and then it was like, you can be free today. Right. And then Nicole was like, you want me or you? And I'll follow you. Come on, let's go. And then that's that key of prayer again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what's so phenomenal about it, once we intercede and pray for her, we asked her to come back, and God answered the prayer.
Yeah.
That I think and we just be like, God's so amazing. We do it all the time because it's just like we're free in areas, and I'm not gonna say I'm just here, no struggle, and then not because I rally and get my girlfriends to say I'm feeling some type of way about something. Help me, get through it. But I have my iron to get us through it. And no, you're not going to always agree. Yes, sometimes you're going to need space, because there's sometimes I'll drop out the chat for a little bit because I can't. It's just too much. And they know. They're like, okay, beat it in her bag. We're going to let her. And then maybe 24 hours later, or top 48, I'll come back with a grip like, hey. But then they accept me like I ain't never left.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Yes.
That's so important, and remember when you were younger.
Yeah.
Remember because you used to hang out with Zena quite often.
Yes.
God rest her soul, but just to you guys were friends.
Yeah.
And we was pre-Christ days because y'all ran and did some things. But I remember the friendship that you and Zena had, and just to see, because I didn't know that you were diagnosed until I was going through Facebook one day, and I seen one of your pictures, and I'm like, no. And I can still think, because I'm one of those. I can't just when I see somebody lost or going through something, I'm not the one to hurry up and jump on the status, because I'm emotional itself when it comes. Because I had a connection with you. You used to come spend the night at the house with Zena. Y'all used to take my car and not bring it back to me. Like, okay, so they just want to die. Oh, okay. But to see you. Not only because you talked about it, you talked about going through it, and even in the midst of going through, you still stayed on Facebook, and spoke some things, and then you actually can see in the timeline where the healing starts to take place, and even to the point where you say today, I still am depressed, but that's the empowerment part. That no matter where you are, because I believe that you're a whole woman. You just got some issues. We all do. But I truly believe that you're whole. But even because I know that you are, because you got it. And you want to help others. And I know we get into a point where, as women, that we got to help everybody because we're nurturers by nature. But it's not a bad thing, because it become a bad thing. But it's a healthy, I gotta help. But that's what women empowerment is about.
Right.
That is because a lot of people always say, I am my sister's keeper. But how are we really keeping our sister?
Right.
I hear that all the time. I hear it in church. I hear it in my club. I hear it every day. I hear it all the time. But how are we keeping her?
Yeah. Can we start saying I'm effectively my sister's keeper?
Thank you.
Instead of just I'm my sister's keeper.
Thank
Just because you watch me on Facebook don't mean that you are effectively
Yes.
helping me
Thank
grow,
you.
helping me whatever.
That's true.
So I think that we need to start adding that in there. Even if we don't say it, we need to start mentally taking that in as I'm effectively my sister's keeper.
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Words are powerful.
It is very
Because
powerful.
it definitely will changes things. You know, life and the death is in the power of the tongue.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, amen. We all
I also wanted to add. So wait, where did it go? Okay.
Oh my God.
With the empowering, which is so great, and I love it, but I find that the people who are free enough to empower others are the ones who are secure in who they are. So if you have somebody who is always talking about somebody else and they're always, throwing seeds of jealousy and discord and envy, it's because they don't know who they are. Because once you start standing firm in who you are called to be, what God's placed in you, you don't have time to worry about what other people got in them, because you're focused on what He's got for you, what your assignment is. So I think it's important that we even as we empower other people, if you notice that in another sister, start praying that she starts understanding her identity. So that's the way to break that thing off of her, is to start empowering who she is. Because until she sees it, she won't be able to move forward.
Right.
Yes.
Just stay stuck.
I wanted to add to that because I do have a girlfriend whom I prayed through some things, and she is totally a different person, but now she sees, like, I'm not that person that I was before. And she says it, like, before she might have just admitted to being the old person, but now she's like, I'm not that person. And then everybody else now is starting to see what I always saw in her. And so prayer really does work in relationships, friendships, because I really was in my room and just like, God, help her like you helped me. And it really has happened, and it's really changing for her too. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But that's women empowering women.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to begin to do in the church, outside the church, at work, all around.
On the bus.
On the bus. Like, it's really okay, because I want to compliment you, Nicole, because your eye makeup is amazing today.
Okay, I've been seeing her eyebrows.
Yes! I feel like I'm popping today, too. So but to be able to shine without dimming her shine.
Yes.
That's so important.
It is.
Why do I have to dim her for me to shine?
You don't.
You don't.
Exactly.
You don't.
And if I notice that your light is dim, I can help you brighten up.
Absolutely.
That's it. And that's empowering women.
Yes.
That's empowered women empower women.
Yes.
That's it. And yes, you'll have someone that you have to separate yourself from.
Yes.
Because they're not there.
They're not there yet.
Right.
But how do we empower them then? We just pray for them. We keep our mouth off of them.
Right.
And we pray for them.
Yeah.
And pray them through. Because we all believe here that there is power in prayer.
Yes.
And people do make life choices and life decisions. And sometimes you have to separate yourself if she's not great in an area. Right. So you don't get tainted. But then you pray, you keep your mouth off her, and you pray for her, and then you move forward. And then go ahead.
I want to emphasize, because with relationships, we're so quick to cast people away, and they can still be worthy of your friendship. They just got issues. So before we cast somebody away, we have to understand that either it's a toxic behavior that's going to damage me, then I need to separate myself, or is it just a behavior of that's just who she is, but I'm going to accept her as such, and then maintain the relationship. It's too many times that we find ourselves casting people away or talking about them simply because of an issue. It's not so much so they're toxic, but it's simply because they're an issue, and we're like, oh, that's not me. Hand me my cup of tea. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my mom used to say all the time, your poop smells just like mine. So stop. So I just want people to understand the difference before you can't associate yourself with people. Is it going to hurt you, then you need to separate. But if it's just an issue that they may have, it may just be them, then you need to give them a little more grace and acceptance.
Right.
Because we're so quick to be like, oh, well, she got to go.
Right.
And then it could be the very woman that we got to go, that you need.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or could it be that it's something in me that's triggered because of that person?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they're the toxic person,
Mhm.
but whatever they're doing is triggering something in me that's having me act adversely to what they're doing. And I'm thinking it's them, but it's me.
Oh, so you're saying you might be the toxic one.
Oh,
I need my tea.
but we cancel that part out.
Well,
We don't
right.
always do
We
the
always
introspection.
think that
Right.
we're
It's
better
always
than the next person.
Mhm.
And I know me growing up, I was that type of person. If you read my book, I was the one who had the perfect persona because I didn't want everybody to know how much garbage I had in me. From sexual abuse to abusive relationships to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and then how the church did me wrong because I had children out of wedlock. So now my anger towards God is like, rah, because not only did I have kids out of wedlock and people look down on me, but then I had to dress in this stuffy stuff, and I'm like, pants.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
I'm a jeans girl, too. Yeah.
I like pants.
Yeah.
Why do I have to stand up with stilettos and skirts all the time? And you think you gotta be...
Yes.
No, give me something where I can be ready.
Because I'm a sneaker girl.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I'm a sneaker girl.
you know, I was the one that had the perfect persona, and then as I grew and my relationship with God got stronger, you can't tell me nothing
I didn't
now.
always think you was perfect, though, when I was younger.
And you know what? To this day, I
did, though.
still have
Yeah.
people saying, even my
I did.
nieces,
Yeah.
when they moved in with us, my oldest niece thought I was perfect.
Yeah.
I said, "Boo, no."
I really
And then
do
now,
think
when
that,
she
yes.
starts to see me,
Yeah.
who I
You
really
are,
am,
yes.
she's like, Dina.
Yes, you
Like,
should. Yes.
why are you horrified?
Yeah, this is who I am.
This is
Yeah.
what I am.
Yes.
And I got the opposite.
Yeah.
Dita's the mess up.
Yes.
Dita's
It's a
mean.
wild one.
Dita's
Yeah.
Right.
nasty.
Yeah.
Attitudinal. Always angry for no reason. But then when somebody get to know me,
Yes.
Yeah.
really a teddy there.
Really.
And
Yes.
then when people started to get to know
And,
me,
and she's the perfect one.
Yes. Yes.
you know, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard, and I no longer to grow up having to be with the perfect persona. That's hard,
It is hard.
and it's fake.
It
It is fake.
Yes.
It's so fake. Like
It takes so much energy.
It does.
Oh, I was exhausted. I went to bed exhausted at night, like, oh. But now I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. I don't care. You know, and people, I can't help what people perceive of me because perception is what you think.
Yes,
you
that's
think.
yours.
I'm not
You know.
responsible for that.
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
responsible with how you think of me.
Mhm.
I'm only responsible for what I know and think of myself.
I struggle with that.
And I think that's another one of those things that we grow up with
Yeah.
that needs to be obliterated.
Right.
Because I know being a PK, a preacher's kid, I was always told people are always watching you. So I had that same issue growing up. Oh, I gotta be perfect.
Yeah, I
I
gotta
gotta
be
have
perfect.
everything together because I have this image to uphold because everybody's always watching me.
Right.
But it wasn't until later in life that I started to say, well, it's okay to be flawed.
Mhm.
And I was messed up.
Yes.
Like, I
Right.
might look okay on the outside, but I'm jacked up on the inside.
Right.
I had so low self-esteem. Like, it was like, I'm trying not to cry today. But there were times when people would say, like, you're pretty, and I would not believe, like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't look at the mirror and myself and say that I was pretty because I didn't believe it at all.
Yeah.
And, I mean, God has healed me from that, and I've come a long way because now I'm like, you see me?
Right.
But it's just it's so important that we really start to understand who we are,
Yes.
and we just get back to God, like really get back to God.
I think that's so key too, Nicole. What you were saying, because with me growing up, I was always the big one, the black one. and that hurt me growing up. And I dealt with a lot of low self-esteem growing up because I have a twin sister, and light skin was back then.
People are constantly comparing you.
Constantly comparing us, the two, you know, and I was the one that, you know, played basketball, so I didn't wear the skirts all the time. I was in sneakers, sweatsuits. That was my thing. And I went through a period of time in my 20s where I had to have my boobs out. I had to have my legs shown because I felt like that were my better attributes, were my breasts and my legs. So let me make sure no matter what outfit I wear, I have to do that because I'm the ugly one, the tall, the big one, the black. I'm trying not to cry, and the black one. So what do I have going on for me because I'm black and I'm big, you know, and you know I wasn't always this heavy, but weight has always been an issue for me. And I remember my senior year in high school, my coach at the time came to me and said, and he affected me. And he said, "You still on your diet?" Because I was coming up to my senior formal, and my mom got this dress for me that I had to lose a couple pounds. It was one of them dresses that it was. And my mom was like, "Now you know, Dita." She was like, push back a couple stuff because you want to get in this dress. And my mom wasn't down on me. She was just encouraging me because she knew how I wanted to look in this particular dress. So, and I remember my coach saying, because I said to him at one practice, "No, I'm on a diet because I'm trying to get in my dress." And he says to me at one practice, "Make sure you're still on your diet because you're starting to look chubby." And I laughed it off, and I went back into my layup line and did my mic and drill. But that affected me for years. For years. And to the point where I was bulimic. People don't know that about me. Where I used to engorge myself in eating and then go throw up later. Because I needed to keep a flat stomach. I had to stay no bigger than a 10. And I got to a point where my mom said, "Dita, you look sick. Gain some weight." And that was then when I just started to embrace who I was, because I'm 6 feet tall, you know, and I always wanted to be short. I felt like I would walk into the room and I would be bigger than all the boys, so I'm not feminine. And then I always had short guys wanting to talk to me.
Tall girl.
Yeah, I'm like, no, because it's not about your short complex. It's about my tall complex. And I stayed out of heels for a while. I don't wear heels now because I got a bad knee. So if you see me in heels, you're like, I'm doing it. But I'm coming out them things quickly. But I had to embrace me. I had to find who I was and snap myself out of it. And say, you know what? And it didn't really take until the current relationship I have now. Me and him was friends first. And about 5 years ago, and he probably doesn't even remember it, and he said to me, I sent him a picture. I was in this yellow sweater, fully covered. It was a church picture. A yellow sweater, fully covered, with this long dress to the ground, black skirt to the ground, with my jean jacket. And I sent it to him. I said, "How does my Sunday look?" And he says to me, "I like you better like that, covered up." That changed my whole life. Wow. That right there, him saying that, he know who he is, changed my whole life. To say, it's okay to cover up. And I can be sexy.
And I still see you.
And people still notice me.
Right.
And that right there, and that's some of the stuff that we deal with as women. And then I was always taught, when we walk, you walk high, shoulders back, head up tall. My mother never allowed me to slouch, even though I tried to because I was tall. Because tall girls do it. And some of the girls that I've coached in the past, the taller ones, I noticed, girls, stand up. Embrace that. You're beautiful. But so I didn't have a choice but to walk that way. And then automatically when I'll enter a room, she's conceited.
Yeah.
She's stuck up. She thinks she's better than. And the whole time they think that I'm thinking I'm this, I'm dying inside.
Right.
And wanting to be accepted by these people thinking that I think I'm all that.
Yes.
Girl, if you knew the blackness on the inside of me right now, you might hug me instead of cast me away. Right. And I'm still in the point right now where I think, Dina, you said that was, if I get another piece of tissue. I had to learn that it is not my responsibility of how you perceive me.
Right.
Period. I am who I am. And I had to learn that, even up until a year, 2 years, that when I end up getting a new heart spiritually. I didn't get going heart spiritually, but God ended up changing me. And I knew I was changed, my heart, because my boyfriend says to me, "You're different. You're not mean." And I have a new heart, you know, so things are different. And I'm a little bit more patient in the relationship. But I had to learn, and up to recently, it's not my responsibility that you feel threatened when I walk in the room being me.
Right.
Because if you took the time to get to know me, my nature is to help you.
Yeah.
Me and Nadiyah had a conversation on our way here, and the first thing I said, "I can help you."
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't even get a chance to ask, like, "Oh, well," she was like, "I want to help you."
I'm gonna help you.
And I was happy. And I also told her, like, a lot of times women don't want to help you.
Yeah.
They get intimidated. So I was very excited.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that project to come. So
Yes.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I'm gonna be all that.
Yeah.
But not to just take up, you know, everything, but just to just give an insight of when people look on the outside, like Dina's perfect, and for Nadiyah to be a child to say Dina's perfect,
Yeah.
and then as a twin they pin us against each other,
Yes.
and accomplishments against each other,
Right.
and not only maybe it would have been better if we were identical, but for us to be two totally opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
That people didn't even realize we were sisters when we entered the room until the names dropped. Then it's like, they must be sisters.
Yeah.
Oh snap, they twins.
Yes.
And then we struggled with that battle as sisters because people pinned us against each other, and but not knowing. And then we had to go through a point of separation so we could grow and check our own self.
You were a jerk.
I was. But that's just a little bit of what empowerment of women that we go through. And I still, right now, I just recently, someone said to me that I hold in high regard, but we got it worked out. It says that you always want to take over. No, I just want to help.
Yeah.
But that was him looking at my personality
Yeah.
and making an assumption of what he thought I was.
Yeah. We gotta stop assuming.
We have to stop.
Yeah.
And then when you sat down and have a conversation,
And you know what I found out too? And y'all might send a hate email. I'm sorry.
No,
But
you're
when
not.
people
I'm sorry.
say that someone's controlling and they're actually not, it's bringing out their weakness. Because I'm timid and I don't have the guts to say how I feel, then somebody that comes up and does do it, oh, then you're controlling. No, you need to grow a pair.
Yeah.
You need to grow a pair and say how you feel.
Right.
You know, and do you. Let's stop letting people run you over, and say whatever they want to you, and you not sticking up for yourself. Like,
Be honest.
you know, and I find that most people that are passive aggressive that don't like confrontation are the ones that say, "Oh, well, they're controlling, so I can't deal with them." Well, if you're passive aggressive and you're not what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive to do something. Well, wouldn't you need the aggressive person to do it?
Yeah.
Empowerment? Like, I don't get it. Like, if there's areas that I know with my sister, she's like a freaking tiger. And I'm not always like that. So when I need her, it takes a lot for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna bop you upside your head.
Yeah.
Because she said it to me yesterday. Because we was having a conversation about something, and she was like, "Oh, here go Jean." Yeah, because I was getting there, but it took a lot for me to get there. With her, it's just drop of a dime, ding. She's there. But there's instances where I be like, "All right, B, go for it. I need you because I know I'm weak in that area."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's empowerment.
Right.
People just don't understand that in all relationships where you're weak, someone can be strong.
Yeah,
and I really believe that opposites truly, truly attract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that balances out the relationship.
Right.
It absolutely does. If I'm passive aggressive, I don't want my husband to be passive aggressive.
Right.
And he's not. Like, he was the type of person I'd be like, "You said that in front of them?"
Like to their face though?
Yeah, like to their face. And he'd be like, "Yeah." And I'd be like, seriously, what did they say? He's like, "Oh, it was good." I was like,
Yeah.
So you need that. And I just wish women would understand that. I mean, there are controlling people. Let's not get it wrong.
Yes.
But we're talking about the aspect of empowerment, and not every woman that walks in a room that looks like she got it all, because I can wear it well,
Yes.
has it all.
Right.
And not every woman that walks in a room should be intimidating. Like, I can't help how you perceive me,
Right.
but
But I can help you if you allow me to.
Right.
How about that?
And I get it all the time that people say I'm perfect. And I'm like, really? Like, now I'd be like, no. And then they think so much that I'm perfect that it brings people to me as if I'm God.
Yeah.
No. No, don't put me there, please. Because I'm going to purposely show you that I'm not God.
Yes.
How perfect I am.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so, no, like, just because my hair has to, my daughter be like, "Ma, you got the gel the edges," or my nails are a certain way, or I like a clean look, does not make me perfect.
Yeah. Right.
I do have an attitude at times. I do like to kick rocks. Like, darn it! I do have tantrums when I can't have my way. There's, I'm not perfect. So I'm sorry that you think that I am. And I'm sorry that you approach me thinking I am, because I'm going to fail you miserably. I really am.
Yeah.
So, but it is.
I just think if we, as women, just learn and give each other a chance.
Yeah.
Give each other a chance to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Give grace.
Mm-hmm.
And can we stop bringing ourselves into a group of women with our negative aspects?
Yes.
Can we empower ourselves so when I walk in a room, I can say, I am loving, I am kind, I'm friendly, I'm honest, I have integrity. Why do we always got to come and, oh, well, I'm not this, I'm not that. Can we please boast in what we do?
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think we come from a place where people, when you speak highly of yourself, something's wrong with you.
Right.
No. It's like a resume.
Yeah.
You don't put on your resume that you a bad person, you gonna steal. Don't make me cash you because I'm gonna steal it. You don't put this, you say, I'm trustworthy.
Right.
Or you may have a time issue. I'm on time. You speak life to yourself and your resume.
Yes, you do.
So why can't we speak life to each other?
Right. Yeah.
Why can't we say, girl, I'm the bomb?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Or I can't do that, but if you show me, I can.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So.
Right. Because I wouldn't even attempt to write a book. I can use some quotes, but writing a book, I can't sit still long enough.
Yes.
I'll probably fall asleep writing. Seriously. But you write very well, and you're a great writer. And it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know not to call on me if you need a book.
I'm already in my mind like, yes, I got these thoughts because I can't sit and write because I'm just, my patience is low. But I want to share my story as a writer.
You have two perfect writers. I mean, all I'm going to say is this.
I'm going
Here we go.
I'm going to give you this advice. If you sensitive about your writing,
okay,
don't ask them to correct it, especially this one.
Okay.
I knew she was going to say that.
No,
Because-
critics though.
Yeah, it's needed.
Yeah.
I had to send a bio for my mind ministry.
Yes.
And I sent it to her. It came back with so many red checks.
I know you're right, but it's perfect.
Yeah, I was like, shit, well, ain't nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
She sent it back. I was like, it was beautiful though. But you gotta put that to the side.
Yes.
So it can be eloquent. But yeah. But that's what being each sister's keepers.
Right.
I'm short in that area.
Yes.
So I would never put out any literature without first running the past, if not both, at least Nicole.
Yes.
To make sure it goes out and I'm putting my best foot forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a stickler about grammar and everything, but that editing portion is not me.
Yes.
But it's my sister.
Yes.
And because what's the word you use? My was that sister keeper?
Oh, effective.
Because she's keeping me effectively.
Yes.
She said, D, don't put that out.
I said that to you recently too.
Don't put that out.
Oh no, you need to edit this.
In my head.
Because Anointed Movement may not be invited back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But you want the best for your sister.
Right.
So, like you said, it's so important that you really encourage your sister to her and play to their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that about you, Dee. Like, I really do. Like, even we were joking a couple weeks, last week with Jaren.
Oh.
And he had a paper. She was like, pause. If you ask on Nicole to do it, be prepared. She's going to cut it up. It's going to be great, but she's going to cut it up. And I appreciate her even giving that disclaimer because it helps the other person understand what I do as well.
Yes.
So it's not just, oh, this is her strength, but you need to be prepared that this is the whole thing of what you're going to get when you ask for her.
Yes.
And just to encourage I appreciate you so much for what you do. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for all that you do. Yes, you help, but like your media ministry is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't even make sense how amazing it is. I would never try to do a flyer knowing that you are here. Never. Like there's no point in me trying.
Right.
But beyond that, you are an encourager. You are a supporter. You are very gifted. Not just in mind. You are a prayer warrior. Mm-hmm. Like you cut people, like you cut the enemy down. Like you go in for war and for blood. And I appreciate that so much about you. And I think it's important to say it in this forum because I need I want the world to know how great Dita is. And so that you can stand tall and strong in who you are and who God's created for you to be. And there's so much more to come for you. So stand in that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
But it's awesome because, like I said, I would not have Relationship Matters Ministries if it wasn't for my girls. Yeah. Even if you didn't even come on today, I wouldn't. We'd have been like,
oh,
what we gonna talk about?
Yeah.
Because I certainly didn't survive no breast cancer. I haven't even put myself with a mammogram machine yet. So what I'm gonna say? What I'm gonna say?
I thank you for having me.
And then for you to have, I don't know, I keep reading your shirt, survivors who pray. Because I want to say good so bad.
Yes.
Survivors who pray, to me, that was just like, wow. Yeah. Like, it's not just, we can receive our healing through our prayers.
Yes.
Not just walking it out, but we got to pray it out.
Yes.
So for you to have that and to come on the show and be so open-minded and I'm honored.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm humbled and I'm honored. And, you encouraged me. Monday I'm going to be making my phone call.
Keep me posted. Let me know what's going on.
Because I'm like, I need to check it.
Yes.
And then for you to open
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
So it takes for my show, it takes a lot of courage because you have to be willing to be open.
Okay.
I can't do the fake people. That's why everybody can't come on the show. Sorry. I can't do the fakeness.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a believer, and I need the people to be like, I'm a believer, but I struggle.
Yes.
You know, this was my struggle. You know, I had breast cancer, and yes, I did go through depression, and I'm not all the way there yet.
Yeah.
Because what happened to me affected me.
Right.
People don't understand that.
Yes.
Like, what happened to me affected me in a good way
Yeah.
as well as a bad way.
I
And
think
I'm
that's
trying
important.
to work
Yeah.
out the kinks and the
Yeah.
bad stuff.
Because I
it
think
takes a
too we
while.
live
Mhm.
with church and us, church and women. You go through something terrible, and if I act like it affected me, I'm no longer a Christian. I'm no longer a believer. That is a lie.
Yeah.
And I know me and my sister just went through a whole thing when we lost my mother, and then we lost my sister 3 months apart. And people still expected us to do, wait a minute,
Yes.
we're not okay.
Yes.
And that was okay to say that we're not okay. We need a timeout. I cannot, and I can't make an excuse.
Right.
And I need you to understand, or not to understand, but just respect my space. Because I need it.
Yeah.
And some people were like baffled. Like, you can't do this for me? No! Absolutely not! It was a struggle to comb my hair some mornings.
Yeah. Yes.
To get out of bed, and I'm a go-getter. I can get up at 5:30 and go all the way up until 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's the most.
Yeah, but that season, you still in bed? Yes, I am.
Yes.
And I was the one, I'm opposite. I got a bedtime,
Yes.
and I wake up at a certain time, and everything got to be done by this time. But during my stuff with my mom and my sister, I don't think I ever slept. I was like,
And I think that's important for women to understand that it's okay not to be okay.
Not to be okay. Yes.
It's okay. Because
so important.
as soon as you admit it, then God can begin to work.
Yes.
Because not one time did I feel like I wasn't going to get better, though.
Yeah.
Because of God.
Yeah.
And even though I was sad and I was depressed and I missed my mother and I missed my sister and some things I couldn't understand why it happened and why our family is doing this and going through this. And then we got to put this on for our children. But then I got to the point where I could no longer mask, and I just had to just break it in front of my kids. But for my children to understand that mommy's human.
Yeah.
There was a couple months span where I could not go in my kitchen because my kitchen reminded me of my sister. So I had dishes to the sky. God only knows else was up in there moving around. The refrigerator was nasty because I just didn't want. And then you got kids. The kids don't do this. You think the kids will help you? They like, well, they like, oh, well, we eat out every day. It must be fun. Not knowing that wall was in my house, I couldn't get through it. And then one day I had to get the courage to say, come on, Ayana, we about to clean the kitchen. What? Yeah, it's time to clean this kitchen.
Yeah.
Because it's time to move on.
It's time to move on.
It's time to move on. Now I can turn the oven on.
Yeah.
And that's the little things that people don't know. And when you're going through grief, going through depression, going through anxiety, going through asking. That's why I'm so baffled when people say you can't question God. I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then people come to me and say, we want you to dance. Dance where?
Yeah.
Dance with who?
Yes.
No, because when my mom first passed away, I faked it. I still did ministry. I still moved forward. People would say, oh, God, girl, you're so resilient. And I wore that like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But then I felt like when I got that Friday morning phone call and my sister didn't wake up, I felt like somebody came in the room and kicked my feet out from under me. And I had to take a few months. Whether you understood it or not, whether you want to come down on me or not, whether you want to question or not, I needed a minute. I didn't want to put no mind makeup on. I didn't want to minister to nobody. And then some people can understand. Girl, you gifted. Why you so anointed? You know, your deliverance through your mind. Not this time.
Right now, I need to rest.
Right. I need that rest. That's right.
When I tell you, I packed my mind bag so far in my closet and didn't care if I ever bought that bag out again. I even contemplated giving away my garments because I never thought I would dance again. Because I was just that hurt. And I was just that sad.
Yeah.
But there is a God.
Yeah.
That's how it was with Relationship Matters. I wrote this book and I'm building relationships and I was like, God, how dare you?
Yeah.
I'm in the prime. Like my book sales was, and then you take my mom, one of the relationships that was near and dear, and then my sister. I was like, man, I don't want no stinky relationship. I don't want the stupid ministry. I don't want the stupid house. I don't want my stupid husband. I don't want nothing. Everything is stupid. Like, I just had a whole tantrum. Like, I literally, and I think he thought I was losing my mind. I was having tantrums.
Yeah.
Because your brain is saying one thing, but your body is like, I don't get it. Like, it's just, I felt like I was in the twilight zone. And I couldn't stop crying, and I'm asking God why. And then I'm supposed to go to church and, pray. No, because the last time I prayed, I prayed for my mom, and look what happened. I prayed for my sister, and look what happened. I ain't praying for you.
But that's real.
Excuse me with my peas. I wasn't praying. No, I'm not praying. I'm not laying hands because I don't want to be up here and giving you my anointing when I feel like I'm running on E. I ain't got it. No, not gonna happen. Not today.
But that's how I felt.
Yeah. And you can't pour from an empty cup.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow. You better say.
And
that
I was
again.
empty.
Yeah.
And I was empty.
Yeah.
And it's okay that people don't understand.
Yeah. Right.
Because I know me and my sister went through a point where we would talk like, some of these people don't get it.
Yeah.
Why are they asking me when the mine gonna go up?
Yeah.
I can't even listen to a song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I turned all gospel music. I'm listening to trap music. I am now trap music. Because I don't want nothing to do with anything that may give me inspiration. Put it together.
That's right.
And that's so real. Like, Dean will come up and, what are you listening to? Don't judge me. I'm listening to trap music. God forbid. Because the way my mind works, if I start listening to certain, I start putting routines together. I start actively listening. I didn't even want to actively put anything together.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't mind. No, I can't teach anybody.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And we have to learn that it's okay to be done for that moment.
It is.
I think it's so important.
It is.
Because people make you think it's something wrong with you, Nadiyah, because you got to be done
Yeah.
for that moment, for you.
Yes.
I couldn't do anything for anybody else until I took care of me. And you said something so profound. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah,
Right.
you can.
And I've tried that in ministry.
Yeah.
I've tried to dance up there from an empty and did not move anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nadia's like,
But
Yeah.
I get down like, whoo.
okay.
Well, I'm gonna be coming back here. But because I did that, so I've learned in ministry that it's okay to time out.
Yes.
And if people, leaders, whoever, don't understand, you have to tell them to take it to God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to sit here and waste a whole bunch of time trying to explain to you where I am.
Yes.
Right. And don't let people rush it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember when my best friend passed away, and I found her. Like, this was the person that I was with every day. We worked together. We did everything together. We lived together, and I found her dead on the steps on my way to work. And that devastated me. And it wasn't until like the last few years that I really understood how much that devastated me. But it was crazy how like 2 weeks later, it's like people like, oh, so you gonna get up and sing this Sunday?
Wow.
Are you serious? Like, no.
Yeah.
Or they make you feel bad for grieving.
Yes.
Like I was sitting in the house crying one day, and somebody was just like, you need to stop being sad.
Like, squeeze you?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So until you have an answer,
Yes.
I'm gonna sit here and be sad.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't allow anybody to rush your process to healing.
Yeah.
And one of the things, Nadiyah, about you took your time.
Yeah.
And you found your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And even though you was Googling, probably Googling
Yes.
on your phone.
Oh my
2
God.
o'clock. Googling
everything.
looking,
Oh
but
my
you
God.
found your
Yes.
way through your process.
Yeah.
And even though you're a survivor, you still dealing with a process after the
Yes.
cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, hooray, we beat
Yes.
it. Congratulations.
Yes.
But you like, yo, I'm still in the process.
Yes.
Right.
It's still a process.
I still want to get married. I still want to do this. I
Yes.
still want to do that. I still want to do this. I'm still sad inside in some of the situations. Don't let nobody rush your process.
Yeah.
Stay strong to who you are and what you believe in, and your foundation is key.
Yeah.
Pray,
Yeah.
and we gotta get out of the habit of thinking we have to grace God with all these these and thous. Dina said something that had me on the floor when it was asked of her to recite something with thou and thuses. Like, this is 2018.
I'm sorry.
That was hilarious. She said it's 2018. I'm not doing it. I'm not saying it
I
like that.
was literally tongue-tied. And simply because I was tongue-tied, I said, I'm not doing that.
No, we don't have to get to God that way.
Yes.
Right.
I know when it's invocation and you stand up in front of the church or whatever and you pray in public, there are certain things that you have to say
Yes.
to be correct, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the relationship with God, he'd be like, girl, if you come to me with the, come back when you're ready.
Right.
Because God has actually said that to me. I'm like, come back when you're ready.
Yeah.
Because you think.
Yes.
Me? Because we think we got to go before the throne of grace and God,
Yes.
oh Father, there, Almighty One. And
Yes.
Omniscient one.
Oh my God.
the Alpha and
Omnipresent.
Omega, the beginning and the end.
El
El Shaddai, El Shahid. Girl, bye. When I'm trying to get a prayer through because I'm mad.
Yeah.
So I got to spend my 15 minutes saying all this stuff because we think that's how we have to pray. No, sometimes I say, hey, look, hey, God,
Yes.
help me because I'm mad.
Yes.
If you don't, I'm coming. I'm punching somebody in the face.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want them to punch back so it's a fight. But that's how you have to go to God. Wherever you are at that moment.
That moment. That's right.
And I think if we took off the religion
Yeah.
and took off the fake
Yes.
and let's get real. Because if we can get real, we can get healed.
Yes.
And we can be okay. And because when I'm healed, the devil wants us to stay broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I can never sharpen you guys
That's right.
if I continue to stay dull.
That's right.
So let's,
And you cause more damage that way.
Yes.
Right.
I'm going to run up through whatever. I'm going to run through the job. I'm going to run through the church. I'm going to go through everybody and bring them down because I'm running around with a crab in the barrel mentality because I need people to understand that I am it
Yes.
and you are not. So because I am it, I have to make you feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you can be it and I can be it.
Yep.
Yes.
We can all be
We can
it's
all be
together.
That's right.
That's right.
Right.
You're
Yes.
an it, I'm an it, you an it,
That's
you an
right.
it.
So our
He's
time
it.
is actually winding up.
Aw.
I know. Got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
But maybe 7.
go from sentence to sentence.
I know. I am the keeper of the time. But we have a lot of people that chimed in and was watching, and hope they're encouraged. What we want to do, Nadiyah, you can do your spill first. I do my spill. You want to do that?
Well, since I'm the I'll go first.
You do your spill, then I do my spill. And
I'm excited. My website is up, relationshipmattersministries.com. I am up. I did venture into blogging. So you can see my blog posts on my website, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and what's the other one? Linked. So that's another aspect I'm doing. But please purchase a copy of my book, Relationship Matters. For $10.99, you could do Amazon. You could do my website, relationshipmattersministries.com. You can also do barnesandnobles.com. I'm just excited where God is taking us. I'm excited about the relationships that I'm actually getting into, new relationships and new business ventures. So I'm excited to where it's going. I'm excited for my girlfriends. Hey! So don't forget to purchase your copy of Relationship Matters for $10.99. It's on all the websites, all the links. Hook us up. Follow my page, Relationship Matters, on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Google Plus. I'm everywhere. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm everywhere.
That's awesome.
I'm everywhere. And did I mention I was excited about my website? Yeah, I'm excited about the website. You can also, if you have questions, I now have a business line.
Hey.
So it's on my website, and I also, if you have any questions, comments, if you want prayer, you can hit us on the my business line. That's on my website and on my Facebook page, and you can also reach me at relationshipmattersministries.com. Yay! I got a formal email address. So I'm excited. You don't have to inbox me, girl. I'm legit. You can go. You can email me professionally at lcoles@relationshipmattersministries.com. So I'm there. Check out the website. I'll be posting new and exciting things. I definitely will be supporting my home girl, my survivor, Nadiyah Brown, and her. Look, I can't. Survivors who pray. Yes. I'm so excited. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
So.
Okay, so I guess this is my spiel. One, for those that don't know, I'm actually a marketing director at King's Clothing LLC. It's a clothing company. One of the things that we have there, our CEO, Franklin Bird, is a really advocate for women and women empowerment. He actually has an empowerment clothing line that we express. We wear. I actually have the shirt on today,
I got my shirt
and she has her shirt on today. Her word of empowerment is beautiful. She has a beautiful ministry, a beautiful personality. It speaks of who she is. My word empowerment today is powerful, because I am indeed a powerful woman in everything that I do. So each word, any word that's on this shirt, you can actually get highlighted that describes who you are. And we actually even have a men empowerment shirt as well, but we ain't talking about the guys today. We talking about the girls.